All right, so let's get into this. We are dropping in today to explore the new moon in Libra, which is exact this morning. And the sort of overall name that I've been giving this particular lunation is Balancing Light and Shadow, Awakening the Creatrix Within. So there's our invocation for today's gathering. And I want to start before I go into the astrological component, giving the transmission for this new moon and this incredible transit that I mentioned in my email yesterday and in my IG stories today. This transit that we haven't seen for over 6,000 years. And this is really the foundation underlying what I'm going to share today, is about these particular very unique once in a lifetime, once in how many lifetimes transits. Um, that's really the foundation. So before we go into the super heady territory of astrological information, let's get into the body. So if you don't know already, it's foundational in my work to be in the body and not just the body. The idea for me is that to really fully be actualizing our potential, to be doing this soul embodiment work, we have to be tending to ourselves, experiencing ourselves, activating ourselves on every level, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So we're dropping into the body right now because it's actually the way that we're connecting with sacred body intelligence. So it's like rather than just thinking that we take in information solely through the mind and we process it, it's really understanding our bodies are literally just fields of energy, and they're mostly made up of water, right? So it's a field of consciousness that's constantly taking in information from whatever it's around, right? So to just land into a situation and attune your mind to it is one thing, but to really consciously connect with the body, connect with the sacred body intelligence is a way that we're fully turning ourselves on, right? Fully arriving into a space and opening our signals to receive everything that we're meant to hear, feel, and that's meant to ultimately be activated in us. So, we're going to anchor into our bodies now. I'm going to just have us do a few simple somatic practices. And if you've worked with me before, you're going to recognize some of these because I'm pulling out my favorites. I like to often start with the ha breath. So you take a really big inhale, and on the exhale, it's ha. So you're really sounding that H sound in your throat, and this is activating the vagus nerve. So it's helping to regulate our nervous systems. And when we're regulating our systems to come into an experience like that and receiving, it's like we're really getting ourselves landed in the present moment to be as receptive as we can to what's coming through. So we're going to start with these three ha breaths. So first one, big inhale. Ha. Next one. Ha. And the last one. And just noticing how you feel already just from that quick breathing practice. Now we're going to move through some gentle tapping. So just taking your fingertips and going around your head, top of the head, sides of the head, back of the head, forehead, cheekbones, upper lip, bottom lip, all along the jaw and under the ears here on the neck. The jaw and this point underneath the ears is great for stimulating the vagus nerve. And going to the back of your neck, the sides, the front, down into your chest, starting in the inside and moving out, and really just doing whatever feels right for you here. Coming down to the solar plexus, that point where the rib cages meet. Coming down to your belly, your digestive organs. Tapping, tapping, tapping on the womb, the pelvic bowl. And we'll finish here, wrap around to the back, your lower back here, tapping on the lower back. And coming back. Let's actually finish out on the heart. Just landing into the heart here. If you were in the Venus Codes Telegram this week, it was so much fun. We were working with the Venus Codes. And one of the ways that we were finding a doorway into the Venus codes was to tap into the field of the heart, which is literally an electromagnetic field. So it's literally a field that can attract things to us and is attracting things to us. And the more that we're tuning our awareness to it and tuning in to that small, quiet voice within that tells us our soul's desires, our soul callings, the more we're activating that Venus energy. This Venus really works with the realm of the heart and this magnetic capacity. And seeing as today is the new moon in Libra, which is one of Venus's home temples. We'll just pay a little homage here to Venus's temple right within our very own hearts, activating this field to magnetize and receive all that will most serve us. All right, and to wrap up here, I'm just going to invite you, and if you want, you can close your eyes and bring your arms around to give yourself a hug and really squeeze yourself to start out with. Oh, this feeling of coming home, of settling back into your own being, your own sacred vessel, this vessel that holds your soul. And just breathing into the sacred vessel of yours, fully arriving, fully landing. You can release your arms and come back to the space, hopefully feeling so nourished from those practices. And now I'm going to get us all activated again with the astrological transmissions. So this is for the new moon, the way that I've really been experiencing it for myself, but also with my clients and with circles that I'm in. It's been this energy of like a final cleansing. And using the word final is funny because everything is sporadic, right? Circular. We're going through phases and we're completing them, and then the thing comes up again. But this is really a final cleansing, particularly for this eclipse season that we just finished. So we had two back-to-back new moons in Virgo where the South Node is. And the South Node is always about releasing, about letting go, about cleansing. And Virgo carries a lot of this cleansing energetic signature as well. So if we're at a new moon today, the day right before the new moon and the day, those hours leading up to it are called the dark of the moon because it's the darkest point in the moon's cycle. And so in this time, it's really like it's always a good time, or naturally what happens is we are is we're in the darkest of the moon, we are tapped into the to our subconscious selves, to what's usually not in our conscious awareness coming up. And so the dark of the moon that was happening leading up to about the moon was like 8 o'clock this morning Eastern time. I don't remember the minute, like 8:20 or something. So from yesterday leading up to that time this morning with the new moon, we were in the dark of the moon, closing out an eclipse portal, and particularly this final eclipse that was with the South Node and in the sign of Virgo. So there was this extra emphasis on like what has been stirred up in the last month, in the last really 6 to 8 weeks from the whole eclipse portal, that's really clear it cannot move forward with us, right? And so with the South Node in Virgo, it has a lot to do with clearing out perfectionism, clearing out control, like any old protective mechanisms that can come up through thought patterns, through relational dynamics, habits. What was stirred up in the last month, 6 weeks to 8 weeks, that was really clear? These are old protective mechanisms that maybe bring me a sense of control, a sense of safety, and that's that protection that it cannot move forward with me into the new. And being that today is a new moon, right? It's like we're orienting towards the seeds that we want to plant. It's a new cycle. So it's going to be a new lunar cycle, which always is lasting about a month from one new moon to the next moon. But also the full arc of the moon cycle is when you have a new moon in one sign to the next full moon in that same sign. So if today is the new moon in Libra, the full cycle is going to be 6 months because that's when the full moon in Libra happens. And coincidentally, this this 6 months from now time period that we're looking at is really also leading us into the next eclipse season because eclipse seasons are always about 6 months apart. And it also is directly coinciding with this collective launch energy, which has to do with these really unique astrological alignments that I'm going to share with you. So at the end of February, we have an an activation of this current alignment that I'm going to share, this very unique alignment that I'm describing as like this collective launch. So it's like we're all preparing right now. We're all in this gestational period from this eclipse portal we were just in and the 6 months following it to the next eclipse portal, which coincides with this collective launch energy. So I'm inviting us with this new moon to not just be thinking about the next month, right? So you're first thinking about what you want to release. Like, what are you letting go of? What are you offering as compost from this eclipse season that we just had? And these Virgo energies, the control, the perfectionism, the protective mechanisms. What are you releasing as compost? And simultaneously, for the seeds for the new moon, what do I want to replace those things that I'm composting? And having a longer, like a more long-term trajectory about the seeds that you're planting. This is not just about the next month. This is about the next 6 months. And as I go into describing more about these unique transits, you'll get to hear how this is really informing the rest of your life from this day forward, because this is such a turning point for humanity. And so, the theme that I want you to be thinking on or feeling into, if you move forward with this offering for how to really embody these archetypal energies of the new moon right now, of the current makeup of energies that's happening at the new moon, is to think about balance. Because Libra, the archetypal sign of Libra, holds the energetic signature of balance, right? So we're releasing whatever it is we're releasing in our life because we're actually wanting to invite in more balance. So if the thing that I'm releasing is looking at my phone for whatever amount of time every day, then what is it that I want to replace that? And so you're orienting to that intuitive knowing of what's going to support you and embodying more of your soul. If I free up this kind of numbing habit to be on my phone as a sort of control protective mechanism that makes me feel safe in a time where there's a lot going on, like what proactive thing can I do that I know supports my soul coming into deeper embodiment? Fill it with that. And so you're just holding this intention as you're moving through this new moon practice to orient to what it is that balance looks like for you. And then getting clear on those components of like what's keeping you out of balance and what will actually help you to come into balance. And it's beautiful because thinking about in the Northern Hemisphere, we're descending into the fall and winter seasons, right? And in several indigenous traditions, definitely the Celtic tradition, they looked at this time as the time to be planting seeds, this time of darkness. So it's more of a time to be planting the energetic seeds because it's like, where does life come from? Out of the womb is dark. This is the time, it's in darkness that things gestate and then they sprout above the soil, right? So we're planting seeds now so that in 6 months from now, when spring has arrived, we're going to start seeing the sprouts of these things and we're holding in our field. This is about using the next 6 months as a launching point for what you want the rest of your life to look and feel like. What does your soul embodiment journey entail, right? And what's so beautiful is, we how this all just weaved itself together, and I was just tapping into all these pieces that came together so beautifully. If we're looking at the new moon and how it's always a cycle of 6 months from the new moon to the next full moon in Libra is happening just following these collective launch energies that I'm just about to go into, these unique alignments, and how this is heralding a much bigger time. The full moon in Libra is coming just after the next eclipse portal, and it's happening just after the spring equinox. So you can see during that time, there's going to be these waves of the new coming in. So in 6 months from now, that spring, whatever's sprouting in our individual spring, is going to be potent. There's so many cycles converging all at once. Okay, so there's a bit about our new moon today. And now I want to go into what I'm calling a wholly unique alignment with the outer planets. And it's funny because I wrote the word holy, like WHOLLY, as in whole, like it's a wholly unique. But as I read it, I was really registering it as holy. So I meant to write holy as in whole, but as I was reading it, it kept registering as holy. And really it is that. This is really significant. So I'm going to share an image of um, this alignment. Hold on one second. I always think I can talk at the same time that I do this, and it never happens. Okay, so I'm sharing this image because, pull it up for myself. With so many things that I'm talking about in astrology, I think it can really help to anchor our understanding when we have a visual representation. So this alignment, let me start by saying when I spoke to this alignment that hasn't happened in over 6,000 years, that's actually just one alignment within a grander alignment that we've actually never seen before. Okay? So looking here at this image, this is showing us this beautiful triangle shape, which is connecting the outer planets. So this is Pluto, this is Uranus, this is Neptune. So the three of them are held together in this shape. This is what has never been seen before, ever. So I want you to just take a moment to sit back, drop some of that energy out of the mind. I like to literally imagine, like, I can feel when there's this like conglomeration of energy in the mind to allow it to like funnel its way down to my heart and feel more balance, or even funnel it all the way down to my womb, just like balancing out the centers of the body here. And I want you to from this place feel in your body humanity is being activated into an energetic signature that we've never felt before. We've never experienced this before. It's completely new. And this is particularly special because astrology is based on predictable cycles, right? We know how long it takes for each planet to completely make a cycle, right? And some of them are really, like the moon, it takes about 30 days for the moon to go all the way around um in the full zodiac, right? So astrology is literally based on these predictable cycles. And all of a sudden, we're having this alignment that's never been seen or felt before. There's a lot of significance to that. Okay? And then the alignment within this alignment that we haven't felt for over 6,000 years goes down to where this Neptune, I pointed to Neptune here, who's at the center of this alignment, is right next to Saturn. And I just pulled this chart up. It's actually not the greatest representation because the specific alignment that is what particularly the astrologer Heather Ainsworth was able to track. The last time we had this alignment was, I have to pull up the year because it's just too epic. 4,361 BC was the last time that Saturn and Neptune were in a conjunction at the 0 degree point of Neptune. Sorry, of Aries. Saturn and Neptune at the 0 degree point of Aries. All right. Over 6,000 years ago, 4,361 BC. Okay, so feeling that in the body again. You have ancient ancestors that felt this energy, this energetic signature. And there has been an over 6,000 year window where none of your ancestors between that felt this energy. So something is connecting us back to our ancient ancestors from this time. So think about what that's literally like awakening new codes, new things in our body. It's a whole new energy that's connecting us back in our lineage from this time where we don't have a lot of cognitive understanding, right? These things are being activated on a soul level, on an internal level through this activation. The odds are mathematically and astronomically insane that these slow-moving planets, Pluto, Uranus, Uranus is here, Neptune, are aligned in this way. And the fact that they're each moving into new signs within a really short window of time just amplifies this like never been seen before. And it's just speaking to like we've been hearing this for several years. It's like there's a new earth, new humanity. And we've been seeing some really significant and unique, powerful transits for the last few years. That's why you're always hearing astrologers being like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Look at what's happening. But this trumps all of them. Okay. This is literally completely unique, never happened before. This particular alignment between the outer planets, right? So it's really telling us that this new earth that we know is coming is here. This is it, the opening, the initiation, it's happening because these outer planets represent the evolution of consciousness. They're not about your direct personality. If you have any one of these outer planets aspecting a personal planet, it will infuse its energetic signatures into your personality, into your soul expression. But we don't look to these planets for personal things. They move too slow. Like you won't experience the full cycle. Pluto's cycle is 248 years. You're not going to experience Pluto moving through and touching all these points in your chart. So when these planets, when any one of them is activated, it's speaking about the collective. It's speaking about our multidimensional nature. It's speaking about the evolution of consciousness. That's just one of these planets. So for all three of them to be aligned, in this never before seen alignment, and staying. They stay in this alignment. It started earlier this year in 2025. It stays all through 2026 and continues into 2027. So what this is saying is like we've been sparked this year as that particularly when Saturn and Neptune were at 0 degrees. I told you this chart's a little funny because in this chart, Saturn right here is in retrograde already. So Saturn is crossed back into Pisces. But the significant point that hasn't happened in over 6,000 years is when Neptune and Saturn met at 0 degrees. So that happened earlier this year in 2025. And then they both went into retrograde. So you can see in this chart, the little R right next to them, they're both in retrograde. So they're both moving backwards. And then they're going to go direct. And then they're going to meet again at the 0 degree point at the end of February 2026. This collective launch energy. Why is it a launch energy? Why is this 0 degrees Aries so important? The 0 degrees Aries, it's literally the start of the entire zodiac. Okay? The very beginning. It's known as the creator degree. It's literally that moment of inception where creation is sending life down into the physical form, is sending a soul down to inhabit a body. It's the creator degree. It's known for being pure potentiality. It's the beginning of the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. So for this to happen right now in alignment with all of the outer planets, it's literally like this new earth we've been feeling, sensing, talking about, this new humanity, it's now. We're at the creator degree, and it is pure potentiality. Like, as I'm going to share with you a little quote here because I think it's just wonderful. From the astrologer Pam Gregory, we're starting to put the paint on the blank canvas for a life experience none of us have ever experienced before. This isn't just about a new beginning in your life. This is literally like we collectively in real time are getting the opportunity to create a new earth, to embody a new humanity, to create a new collective reality through each of our individual lives. It is a massive turning point. Massive turning point. And this is why our choices right now are more important than ever. Right? Like our energy is always important, the state of our energy and what we're choosing to attune to and therefore create in the world. That's always important. But when we know that we're literally at the creator degree, being activated into pure potentiality, this becomes a lot bigger than just about ourselves, right? It's like, what reality do you want to create for your future, the whole rest of your life? What reality do you want to create for your children's future? For your nieces and nephews' future, for the children in your life, for their futures. What reality do you want to make possible for the next 7 generations and beyond? This is happening in real time. And what's beautiful is like in my work, I'm going to bring this down now. You've gotten your imagery. Hold on. Okay. So my work is always weaving the very personal with the very collective, right? Because they're not actually separate at all. We focus deeply and intimately on our unique soul blueprint, like really understanding what it is I'm equipped with and what it is I came here to do, how it is I came here to express and create and move through the world so that we are fully playing the role we came to play within and for the collective, for the evolution of consciousness. It's not arbitrary that you're wired with what you're wired with. You have a unique and significant role in this greater tapestry. And right now, more than ever, it's like I heard someone else say before, like being alive right now is like winning the lottery. You're not only getting to play this fucking wild earthly creation game by being a soul embodied in form, but at this particular moment of pure potentiality of creating something completely new for yourself and for the rest of humanity, for, for time immemorial. We're the ones who are embodied in form right now to get to have a co-creative role in seeding that new reality. Whew! So let's just take that in for a second. Ooh. Take a sip of my tea. Mm, big times. And it's almost like I want to say, it's like the big times catching up. As we've been hearing astrologers again talk about the last several years, just these incredible, these significant, these unique alignments. This is okay, we have crossed the threshold. We're in it now. Now we're just in the new. We can just say everything is unique and as a whole new flavor because it's all pure potential, right? And so the way that I work with astrology is really understanding that we are informing the celestial elders as much as they are informing us. We're literally co-creating with their activations. So even if you're not paying attention to the activations, well, still, then you're just subconsciously, unconsciously creating with them because they are the energies that we're in all the time. And we activate more potentiality when we are attuning to them, right? And so our little minds cannot hold the vastness of astrology. Oh my gosh, like what I just shared with you, like we can get tapped in and get like inspired and like, wow, what is this? But to actually bring that down and in, like what do I actually do with that? Knowing that we're at the beginning of the beginning and like pure creative potential is alive for the entire, for all of humanity. What the fuck do I do with that? So we bring this down to ourselves, right? We anchor into our own transits. We wisen ourselves to where our lives and selves are being activated, right? And then we directly embody the energy. So, like, I knew I was having a strong Venus activation. And so I allowed myself to open up and make more space to receive Venus's energy, the celestial elder Venus, her archetypal energy is like, okay, if that's what's getting activated for me right now, let me open my vessel to fully receive it. And then I created the Venus codes, right? I'm tapping into what my unique soul, my soul blueprint came here to do. And I'm amplifying its potential by attuning to what's specifically alive for me and letting that create through me. But I'm co-creating with it, right? I could have just opened to the energy and just experienced her pleasure, her beauty, her inspiration, her creativity, her connection. But I chose to actually get into that co-creative position and move and co-create with it, right? So I think of us as being satellites. We're specifically hardwired for the soul blueprint we came here to embody. And that's shown through our astrological birth chart, right? So when I'm attuning my awareness to what's being activated in my astrological birth chart and its timings, I'm using my satellite at max capacity. Full life force energy can stream through. I am embodying my utmost potential and I'm wielding creation energy to its fullest extent, right? I've opened completely and allowed it to come through because I'm not swimming against the current. It's like, okay, this is the current of what's being activated. I open my cognitive awareness, I bring it down into my body, and I create with it. So, can you see how it's a co-creative dance and it involves very much bringing it just not just in the mind, but down into the body, into this physical realm, and creating with it. So, if you were in the Telegram group, you got to experience a little taste of simple archetypal embodiment experience working with the Venus codes, right? Allowing that to amplify this field of energy. And with Venus, it's beautiful because it's amplifying her gifts of pleasure, beauty, connection, inspiration, right? Okay, I want to do a little shakeout here. There's a lot of talking. We'll just shake it out wherever you are. If you want to stand up, I have a very squeaky chair. I'm not going to shake there. Shaking it out, letting your body wake up, letting it really absorb this energy of pure creative potential that we are in as a collective. Oh, stretching. Oh, stretching it in, shaking it in. Remember, we're connecting with the sacred body intelligence so that we're fully receiving on every level the transmission, the frequencies, the pure potential. We're opening ourselves to receive that, right? So I want to tell you my story, how soul embodiment experiences were born through my time in Peru. I'm gonna take a sip before this. Mhm. All right. So it really started with receiving a soul calling to go to Peru. But this wasn't like a sparkly, I'm gonna go take a trip to Peru and whatever. It was like I was in the very middle point of my Saturn return because the full cycle is about a 2.5 year cycle, and I was right in the middle of it. And Saturn had just cut everything out of my life. And it was a bit of a co-creative dance because while Saturn cut everything out of my life, I met it with full surrender. At that point, I wasn't totally in this awareness of consciously co-creating. I was really in a point in my spiritual journey where I was just opening and receiving, following the breadcrumbs. And when Saturn started to demolish and cut out everything in my life, and I'm talking like relationship, home, career, right? Like all the big things. And then by that point, it's like the sense of direction. It was like, hold on, what direction am I even going in? So I responded to it by fully surrendering. So rather than having everything cut out of my life and then desperately trying to go back to doing the same thing, I at least had the wherewithal to say, I fully surrender. And at that time, I was really doing my archetypal embodiment work with the goddess. Okay. So I would wake up every day and I would say to the goddess, I surrender this day to you as I surrendered my life to you. I put everything in her hands because I had developed a directly felt relationship with her in my body and her different archetypal signatures. And I did fully trust her, but it's also, of course, it's a whole different experience to lean into your trust of spirit, whether it's just spirit in and of itself, the universe, or whatever particular guide or being you're working with, like goddess, this version of the goddess. It takes a whole other level of trust to really bring that through in your life and to say, like, I'm putting you in the driver's seat, right? So this is what brought me to Peru, this moment, because ultimately what happened is my channel was completely opened. Saturn return opened my channel. One of my astrology mentors described um, this particular part of my Saturn return. This doesn't necessarily happen for everyone, was like a soul retrieval from past lives, because really it was like in one night my third eye open, my channel open, and I suddenly could be in this direct communion with the spirit world in a way that I never had before, like ever had before, and never even desired to. I never wanted to like channel or be a channeler. It just happened. And so it's like Saturn cleared everything out, cleared all the distraction, all the noise, all the things that weren't me. This foundation that got built in my life from childhood that wasn't actually true to my soul, cleared it out, and then activated this capacity so that I could start to rebuild the foundation of my life from the truth of who I was. Because Saturn is all about us fully realizing we have a limited fucking amount of time here and we have a unique way that we came here to serve, our dharma, right? And so you got to clear the noise and you got to get real about the time that you have here and create a life that's culling out all the noise and focusing on what your dharma is, how you came here to create structure to serve in this world. All right. So that's what led me to Peru. It was a huge example of ecstatic living because ecstatic living is all about moving towards our growth edges, right? It's wherever your soul is asking you to go that you're like, that makes me fucking uncomfortable, but I keep getting pulled to it, or I just know I need to go in that direction. So you go. That creates the sense of ecstatic living. There is literally a surge of life force energy that comes into your body, that comes into your whole energetic field because you're orienting towards life. You're orienting to the spiritual part of you that's way beyond this physical form. And so it's opening that channel and amplifying life force energy. And when we don't know how to handle it, we can channel that into like, oh, it's fear, it's anxiety, it's too much, it's all these things. It's like we have to change our perspective on it, that it's actually something it is our breadcrumb. It's here to serve us, and then we build the tools and the capacity to move into greater and greater experiences of ecstatic living. So this was a huge leap into ecstatic living coming to Peru. I wasn't asked to just go on a trip. I was asked to literally, for letting go of the complete foundation of my life before and moving into the unknown. It was get rid of all your things. I sold and donated all of my things down to two boxes. I had two boxes left with some journals and some books and a box of my camping gear. That's what got left after having like a whole house worth of things. Um, I sold my car and I had no idea what I was going for. And the other thing is I was shown that the only thing I was really to bring with me, because all I brought was um, a backpacking backpack and I think a carry-on suitcase. I think so. But point is, not a lot of things. It's like the only thing that you need is to commit to this long-term shamanic training um, container with one of my mentors, one of my spiritual mentors. And this was the most I had ever invested in a spiritual mentor. And it was also the closest I'd ever gotten because I'd been in her field and kind of learning more from the outside in less direct ways. And this was like a full-on immersive 4-month container that extended really with the extra things that we um, created from the teachings into being a 6-month container. So it was the most I had ever invested energetically And it was the most I'd ever invested financially. And it meant that the last of my money basically was going into this training and into the plane ticket. Huge growth moment into ecstatic living, right? And so, as I'm in this experience of ecstatic living, I'm in Peru for 7 months, and it's a wild time of me trying to navigate being in a completely different culture, being in this rural, remote village at 10,000 feet elevation in the Andes, learning how to speak an entirely new language and like not knowing how I was going to stay there, but realizing immediately that this was a soul home for me. On a soul level, I felt so at home, but everything on the external was new and challenging growth edge. And after 7 months, I end up in this wild experience where I am drugged in a taxi. So I leave my water bottle in the car for a brief period of time. And when I come back, I take a sip out of this water bottle and I start to realize that I have been drugged, that there is a substance in my body that's starting to take over. It was horrifying, terrifying. Okay. But the point of this story is not about how horrifying it was. I mean, it's an important part because it feeds into what happened, but it's really where soul embodiment experiences and the strategized creatrix began to be birthed. So I'm going to read this little clip from my story that was published in a book this year about this experience being drugged in a taxi. So I'm going to talk about what came out of it, right? While I was in that taxi, I felt lifetimes of the collective feminine voice. I felt my own lineages and all the women who were told to sit down, shut up, and play the role of obedient, acquiescing, closed-lipped woman. The oppressed feminine was a volcano finally erupting after generations and lifetimes of suppression, all encompassing in its unbridled expression. Because of my work with somatic modalities and attuning to astrological transits, I knew I was personally in a rite of passage involving deep psychological crucibles and was able to become present with myself on every level in the days following this traumatic event. I shook my body vigorously. I sobbed in organic, undulating waves of emotional release, wrote out my mind's overwhelm and inherent desire to comprehend the incomprehensible. I hugged a pillow when I needed comfort. I sat in spacious silence and I spoke to trusted kin. The wisdom of astrology and understanding our sacred body intelligence through somatic study allowed me to step out of victim consciousness and into empowerment. I slowed down and became so present. Minutes felt like hours, beyond space and time. It was psychedelic, like entering the realm of the heart, of the soul, and experiencing how these non-physical aspects of ourselves heal in miraculous ways. This was the first time I processed an acutely traumatic event in real time, and the results astounded me. I had a directly embodied experience affirming that by having an awareness of the impact of traumatic overwhelm to the nervous system and knowing tools and practices to meet that impact, we are capable of welcoming the arc of completion. When we make space for all parts of ourselves to express following a traumatic event, the body, emotions, mind, and soul know how to rebalance our beings. I ended up living in the Sacred Valley for 3 more years, enjoying a beautiful and magical life. I was never again afraid to be in a taxi or in Peru. And let me just name that I ended up leaving that situation of being drugged in the taxi unharmed physically, other than the fact that I had been physically violated with a substance in my body. But there, I go through an incredible shamanic initiation, really, and I don't use that word, that phrase lightly. Not everything is a shamanic initiation, but when you're in life or death moment and the power of your soul comes online to get you out of that situation, to pull you towards life, that's a shamanic initiation. And there are others, I think they don't always have to be that intense, but that's like the umpteenth degree of a shamanic initiation. And the important part is because I knew I was living on my Pluto line, and I mean directly on it, because I knew I was going through an activation of both Pluto and Saturn in my birth chart, I was able to step into this bird's eye view perspective and look down at what was going on afterwards and understand like I was a conscious co-creator in this. It's like Pluto 101 to go through intense psychological crucibles like this. Literally to be dealing with themes of life or death, and it doesn't always show up that intensely for people, life or death, but it can, and that's how it happened for me. So I could look at this and I'm like, this is part of a grand design. And I still have to totally come into my body and deal with what just happened. I have to be in my body to move through this situation. But by having this bird's eye perspective, I didn't get stuck in this victimized state of this happened to me. If I stayed in that state, I could have left Peru and never gone back again and carried this trauma with me for years. But because of my ability to tap into the astrological wisdom and understand that everything is happening, part of a much grander design that we can understand, and everything is for us. And it's our choice to orient to that in that way. And then by utilizing this sacred body intelligence, I moved through the most horrific thing I'd ever been through, and it ended up being what gestated, what created. It was the seed that created soul embodiment experiences. This wouldn't be the story I would be telling you, right? That I went to Peru, and you know what happened after that? I literally created the life of my dreams at that time. I fell in love with a beautiful man, right? For where I was at that time in my life, beautiful. I met a business partner and got to create a community event space. This like a little taste of creating the new earth in this small community of expats. And we got to collaborate with the local community and create this beautiful thing that has impacted so many lives and given people so much hope for this new world that we're moving into. I lived the life of my dreams. I created the life of my dreams. It was a part of my soul embodiment journey. If I had collapsed into fear and trauma because I didn't know that this was happening for me and I didn't know how to meet myself, I wouldn't have lived through one of the greatest fucking stories and experiences of my life, that whole chapter in Peru, right? So this is soul embodiment. We're moving towards our growth edges. We're allowing that ecstatic living to come alive in our bodies. And we know challenges are a part of life. And especially when you're following the astrological timings, you know part of the energetic signatures, like when you're working with Saturn, it's to learn through challenge. But it's all benevolent, it's all for us, and it all is giving us the keys and the codes for self-actualization, for soul embodiment. So I want to show you a couple photos from this time because I think it just um, allows you to feel. Again, trying to talk and do this at the same time. Allows you to feel the power of orienting towards your soul embodiment journey and what comes out of that. Okay, so I'm going to share now. This page, share, and then I'm going to um, move this so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Go into presentation mode. Okay, so on the left, this is one of my favorite waterfalls in the Sacred Valley, and you can see me, this tiny little being on the bottom left, opening myself to the powerful, potent energies of these lands. And that is a waterfall that we visit actually in the Peru retreat. So I'm going to talk in a little bit here about the tiered offerings of my work. And the fourth tier, the final climactic tier, is going on a retreat in the Sacred Valley. And so that's me and that beautiful waterfall, Pearl Nyack, that we go to in the retreat. And this image on the right side is this incredible ancient sacred site that literally was just on the top of the mountain right behind my house, like in my backyard. And so I walked up to the sacred site on this mountain when a friend came to visit me. And I mean, there we're probably up, I think, at 14,000 feet elevation. I might be exaggerating. It's more than 10,000 feet. Stunning. The energies are so incredibly powerful on that land. It's literally, it's a soul activating land, and particularly when you're called to it in this way, right? Not just like, oh, I want to go see Machu Picchu. No judgment. If you want to go see Machu Picchu, go see it. But when you get called in this very soulful way, like this intuitive way, like I know I have to be there, it's calling you because this land activates soul embodiment. And so this is an image of our opening night at the community event space. So this is at the very, 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 very beginning where we gathered. It's not actually the opening night. This is our first night where we gathered all of the faculty and like people who were coming. These are people from all over the world, local and international, from like every corner, who were bringing their modalities, their services, their creative offerings to host in this space. And this is a photo of me on the right, on stage at the end of my time there. So before I left PSEC. And I was actually, it was the first time I was telling my story of being drugged in a taxi in front of people. So that was a huge ecstatic living moment for me, moving towards a growth edge and allowing that amount of life force energy to come alive in my body by being not only being seen, not only being on stage, not only being in front of a microphone, but telling the most like gut-wrenching, soul-empowering experience of my life. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. Beautiful. All right. Let me just get oriented here, take a drink. All right. So basically, the way that I see it is this now moment is right with these massive collective transits with this, it's not, I just have to stop saying it's like nothing before, right? This moment of pure potential that's unfolding through 2025 into 2026 and into 2027. And I realized what I forgot to say earlier is the inception started this year. Neptune and Saturn met at that 0 degree point, and then they both, maybe I said this, but I want to say it now. It's coming up, so I'm going to say it again. Um, they both are retrograde right now and have been for a little bit of time. They're going back into Pisces, yes, and then they come back at the end of February. I'm pretty sure I said that. So we got the inception this year. Something was really activated for us this year. It's like we got a vision into the future. We got a taste. And now the rest of 2025 has really been about this reshuffling. It's like we're getting calibrated to actually embody the soul vision, right? That's coming through. And so that's this gestation period from now until the end of February. And then really through 2026 and into 2027, it's like, let's go. That blank canvas is right there and it's time to start painting, right? And so we're really being asked to learn how to navigate life in a new way, all of us. And it's so beautiful to have this moment where it's like I'm gathering all of this wisdom and my, it's like my healing journey, my spiritual journey, my whole time being activated into Peru and creating this incredible life. And then moving through the next wave of my soul embodiment journey, which was to leave it. It was actually like, wow, this chapter needs to end. This isn't, it wasn't a big enough container for me, wasn't the right container for me to really step towards the visions that my soul is asking for. And so to be sitting here now, it's like I can already see how from the last 8 years, I have been creating soul embodiment experiences. And now I'm getting to sit here and really speak to it and present it as like, there are so many ways that you can choose to step into the new right now, right? Like there's not one guru, there's not one spiritual mentor, there's not one astrologer, there's not one somatic. There, we all have the option to move towards what aligns with our soul, and that is the heart of the way forward, right? And really, I say be careful if anyone's telling you anything different. It's to orient to your soul, and I mean this is not just words, to really listen to your soul and take action on what your soul is saying, even and especially with it means moving towards your growth edges and starting to see it as a fucking gift that we get to be ecstatically alive. We get to move towards our growth edges. We get to open up the channel for pure life force energy to move through us. We get to wield creation energy to create our lives. And that requires moving into new territories, expanding, evolving on our soul embodiment journeys, right? And so, bringing this back into this now moment, I was talking about, we're being asked to move forward in new ways. So, soul embodiment experiences are one aspect, that's one doorway in. And you'll know it's like you can listen to 10 different astrologers or 10 different people doing the same thing. And for whatever reason, you're going to be called to one or two because they're carrying whatever. It's like they have similar codes, different, similar frequencies that are actually there to support in your activation, in your soul embodiment. So you just trust where you get called to. So this is just one way forward, these soul embodiment experiences where we are archetypally embodying what we're tapping into in our unique soul's blueprint and in our timings. Yeah, so coming back into this moment with this new moon, the biggest energetic signature with it for me is this activation of Black Moon Lilith. So Black Moon Lilith is in a trine, is in a very supportive relationship with both Saturn and Jupiter, and really it lasts almost the whole coming month. So we're just about to move into Scorpio season. The sun is just about to move into Scorpio, which means it's Scorpio season. And that's where Black Moon Lilith is right now. And she's being activated by Saturn and by Jupiter in this another beautiful triangulation, right? And in this particular moment, at the time of the new moon, Mars and Mercury have just come together in conjunction, and they're right, like just a couple degrees off of Black Moon Lilith and moving closer towards her. So there's these several angles. It's like I keep seeing her as this like anchoring point where all of these other planetary energies, all these other celestial elders are like pointing. This is the way forward right now. And what's so beautiful is Black Moon Lilith is all about liberating life force energy, not holding back from the vitality that is our birthright, and reclaiming this vitality through fully and authentically expressing ourselves. So when we want to tap into Black Moon Lilith energy, it's really about like dropping into this primal life force energy. Like in this animal body, I'm animated with this life force energy. Just like if you walk into the middle of a forest, you feel this life force energy pulsating all around you, right? It's like we are made up of that same energy. So when we get into this animal body and we let it fully express, that's one way, to me, the most direct way to really wake up the energetic signature, the codes of Black Moon Lilith. So let's do just a little bit of shakeout right now before I lead us into a guided experience, because this is going to be about just like starting to attune our conscious awareness to this creative life force energy. And if you were in the Venus codes, you got to experience a ritual, a simple ritual where I was guiding. Now I'm not shaking, but I'm just kind of stretching and freely moving, right? Black Moon Lilith, it's like let the energy move through you. Get out of the head and let the creative life force energy fully animate you. So in the Venus codes, I gave a simple ritual for, turning on some real primal kind of sounding music and using that to get out of the head and let your body fully move to the ways that this creative life force energy wants to animate through you and let the primal sounds come out, right? Like let yourself fully drop into this state of like feral freedom because it's just expanding your capacity to authentically express yourself at every other realm of your life. Like you don't have to be ferally expressing like an animal all the time, but when you allow yourself to go there and allow Black Moon Lilith energy to stream through you in that way, you're expanding your capacity to be more liberated in your expression in every other part of your life. So feel free to practice that ritual if you feel called. And we're going to do a little bit of a guided activation here where we're just really tapping into the consciousness of this creative life force energy in the body. So after you've finished shaking it out and dropping into your body, I'm going to invite you to get comfortable, sit back, close the eyes, and just start to really focus inwardly. Breathing into your body, resting into your shoulders, dropping down. So you're opening your chest and dropping the shoulders down. Forehead relaxing. Tongue falling away from the roof of your mouth. Jaw releasing from a clench. Feeling the weight of your body being held by the chair beneath and behind you. And as you're settling into your body, I invite you to start feeling, sensing, imagining the life force energy that is swirling around in precise patterns within your body. The blood that's being pumped all throughout. The consistent impulse to take air in and release it. Your cells building and breaking down incessantly, all beyond your conscious awareness. You are feeling into the sacred intelligence of your body. And continuing to settle your awareness on your body into the sacred intelligence that animates it and makes a home for your soul. And I'm going to begin to invite in the astrological energies while you're continuing to focus on this life force energy streaming through your body, through the blood, through your breath, through each and every cell. Our celestial elders, Jupiter, Saturn, and Black Moon Lilith, are in a flowing, supportive trine relationship in the 3 water signs. Jupiter is expanding Black Moon Lilith's gift for awakening our wild aliveness. And Saturn is anchoring this vitality, reminding us that it is essential for our earthly journey. And with Mars and Mercury coming to activate this alignment, Mars bringing it into our bodies and Mercury bringing it into our cognitive understanding, we are quite literally being awaken to the consciousness that lives within the sacred intelligence of our animal bodies. Water holds consciousness, And this alignment is coming to life underwater in these water signs. The primal consciousness of the womb waters are stirring. Jupiter is breaking down the barriers to our remembering, and Saturn is supporting us in taking sacred responsibility for the gift of the pulsating vital life force that is our body's natural state, our very own bodies of water. So, settling your awareness fully into this felt sense of the sacred body intelligence, the blood pumping, the air circulating, the cells birthing and dying. Bring recognition to this primal intelligence. And now begin to feel, sense, and imagine all of your cells swirling, pulsating, animated with life. Imagine all of your cells at once, almost like you're looking directly at each and every one of them. And now imagine all of them becoming aware of your attention to them. Imagine all of your cells having eyeballs that are looking back at you. You and your cells, you and the sacred intelligence of your body becoming consciously connected in this moment. And now I'm going to move us through a body scan, bringing this conscious connection through the entirety of our bodies. Starting at the toes, you're meeting all the cells, all the life force energy here, all those eyes looking back at you. Moving from your toes to the tops of your feet, the bottoms of your feet, your heels, your ankles, the entirety of your feet and ankles here, all those eyes looking back at you, that the sacred intelligence of the body consciously meeting you, meeting your conscious awareness. And moving this up your calves, into your knees, into your thighs, moving into your hips and into your pelvic bowl. Taking an extra moment of connection here with your womb waters. So if you have a womb, these waters and the depth of intelligence they hold, the limitless and wise guidance that is awaiting you there, connecting you to maiden, mother, and crone wisdom. And even if you don't have a womb, this is your center of creation. We all create from this space in our body, from the pelvic bowl. And it inherently has a watery element to it, the second chakra. So connecting with those watery energies of creative life force energy, anchoring in this energy, this space where this energy really is anchored and thriving and alive. Really taking a moment to feel all of those eyes of consciousness, watery consciousness, looking back at you. And taking a breath before we continue to move up into your lower and middle spine. So we're in the back with the lower and middle spine, and then circling to the front to your digestive organs. And continuing to move up into your solar plexus, that space where the rib cages meet. Up into your chest, the lungs, the heart, and through the back, the middle of your spine, all the way up into your neck. Moving down your arms to your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, your fingers, and your whole hands. All these eyes looking back at you from the whole of your body up to your neck. So coming back up the arms into your throat, this place where your sacred voice arises and expresses on behalf of your soul. And moving up into your chin, your jaw, your ears, your nose, your eyes, your forehead, the top of your head, and now your whole head. And take a moment here before we close out to feel your entire body at once. The sacred intelligence, the life force energy streaming and teeming throughout all cells of your body. This sacred intelligence that requires us to drop out of the mind and into a realm beneath the surface. Like putting your head under the ocean surface and experiencing directly the miracle of life that thrives beneath our sight. And where all these eyes, all this consciousness is ready to meet you in conscious awareness, in conscious connection. And if it feels aligned, this will be our closing to give gratitude to the sacred body intelligence and to the celestial elders for bringing our awareness here to embody on an even deeper level today the mystery that we are. And just moving to take 2 final deep breaths, using those breaths as a pathway back into this space, into this precious gathering of wildly alive humans. Mm, so good to be wildly alive. This is one anchor you can use with this new moon and over the next 6 months as we're gestating into this collective launch into 2026, where we're really being ushered into creating with that blank canvas according to our soul's directives. Remember these eyes, this conscious aliveness in your body. Look at it, touch it, make it more real so that you can take all this cosmic celestial energy that's being activated. It just is, it's being activated so that you can take it and create this life that you want to see for yourself, this future and this reality that you want to see for your children or for the children in your lives, and for the world that you want to see created for the next 7 generations and beyond. Mm, so beautiful. Feel free to type in the chat how that was for you if you'd like to. Beautiful. So beautiful. Mm, hmm mm. So I want to leave us here in these beautiful new moon energies. And thank you all for gathering. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And may this serve you in the next month in the next 6 months, and truly for the rest of your lives. Welcome to soul embodiment experiences. Welcome to ecstatic living. Welcome to coming into a direct, embodied, archetypal relationship with the celestial elders. I'm sending you all so much love. Until the next.